This is the man who dug in silence for over 30 years. There was a man who loved mining. He spent his life searching for precious metals and gems deep within the earth, but he wasn't very good at it. And he never made enough money to live comfortably. In fact, most of his life, he was dirt poor. Still, he didn't give up. Day after day, year after year, he kept digging tunnels into the mountainsides. And no matter what anyone else said, he always believed that one day he would strike it rich. But in reality, he was just a fool who wasted his life on a pipe dream. Or so everyone thought. Because one day, everything changed. You see, this miner was very consistent with his work. For over 3 decades, he had shown up every single day and dug with all his might. And because of that, he had created a massive network of tunnels beneath the town where he lived. And none of the townspeople had any idea about it. Then one day, while he was digging, he heard some voices near his tunnel. So he stopped to listen, and then he heard them say something that made his heart skip a beat. They were talking about an upcoming storm that was going to hit the area and cause major flooding. The people were worried about the storm, but they didn't realize how dangerous it really was going to be. And that's when the miner knew he had to do something. You see, he had been digging his tunnel so close to the river that the increased water flow would eventually lead to his cave collapsing. So he had 2 options. First, he could run away from the town and let the people deal with the flooding themselves. Or second, he could stay behind and sacrifice himself to save the town. He didn't hesitate for even a second. He knew exactly what he had to do. So he ran as fast as he could to warn the people about the upcoming flood. But when he got there, they wouldn't listen to him. At first, they thought he was crazy. Then they thought he was just trying to scare them, so he could buy some mining equipment or something like that. They had no reason to believe him. And unfortunately, they paid the price for that. The next day, the storm hit, and it was much worse than everyone expected. The river overflowed and flooded the entire town. Homes were destroyed, shops were destroyed, and everything the people had worked so hard for was destroyed in just a few hours. But there was one thing that the flood couldn't destroy: the miner's tunnel. You see? Because he had been mining there for so long, they had created a natural shelter beneath the town. And so thousands of people ran to the tunnels to take shelter. They didn't know how long the flood would last, or if anything would be left of their town once it was over. But they knew that the miner's tunnel was strong enough to withstand the worst of the storm. And that's exactly what happened. The flood eventually subsided, but the damage was done. Most of the town was underwater, and many people had lost their lives. But those who took shelter in the tunnels survived. They emerged from the darkness to find a world that was completely different than the one they had known before. Their homes were gone, and many of their friends and family were gone. But they were alive, and that was thanks to the miner, who dug in silence for over 30 years. At first, the townspeople were angry at the miner. They blamed him for their destroyed town and for the loss of their loved ones. But when they realized that he had saved their lives, they became grateful. They thanked him and promised to never forget what he had done. But the strange thing was that the miner didn't want any thanks. In fact, he didn't even want the townspeople to know his name. He was a humble man who didn't care about fame or fortune. He just wanted to help others. And that's why he spent his life digging tunnels beneath the town. Of course, the townspeople didn't understand this at first. They thought he was crazy, just like we thought he was crazy. But in the end, they realized that he was a hero. They named him the silent hero of the town and built a statue in his honor. But even though he had finally gotten the recognition he deserved, the miner was still the same humble man that he had always been. He didn't care about the statue or the fame. He just wanted to help people. He never made any money from his work, but one day a gas pipeline burst and his tunnels saved dozens of lives. So the moral of the story is, no matter what anyone else says, if you believe in something, you should keep working towards it. One day, your hard work will pay off in ways you never imagined. Also, don't forget to show some love and hit like to inspire us. Until next time.